In the heart of every meaningful endeavor lies not the fleeting whisper of motivation, but the unyielding echo of duty. Motivation is a fair-weather friend. It arrives in a burst of sunlight, but vanishes when the clouds gather. Duty, however, is the bedrock. It's the silent promise you make to yourself, to your community, to your purpose. It is the core of what the ancient Japanese called Yamato Damashii, spirit of Japan. This isn't just a historical concept. It's a living philosophy, a compass for navigating life's relentless challenges. It teaches us that action is not born from feeling good, but from a profound sense of responsibility. When the alarm rings on a cold morning, motivation asks if you feel like getting up. Duty tells you it's time to rise, regardless of how you feel. It is the force that transforms an ordinary person into someone capable of extraordinary feats, not through grand gestures, but through the consistent, unglamorous execution of their obligations. This spirit is about understanding that your life is not merely a series of personal desires to be fulfilled, but a role to be played with integrity and commitment. At the very center of Yamato Damashii is the principle of honor, or meisho. In the modern world, honor is often mistaken for reputation, what others think of you. But true honor is an internal affair. It's about your private code of conduct, the unwavering commitment to your values, even when no one is watching. It's the integrity that guides your choices, the quiet dignity in your actions. Think of the artisan who spends countless hours perfecting a single, unseen detail on a piece of pottery. They are not doing it for praise or for a higher price. They do it because their honor is woven into the fabric of their craft. To compromise on quality would be to compromise themselves. This is honor in action. It is the promise to deliver your best work, not because you are being supervised, but because you are the ultimate supervisor of your own character. Applying this to our lives means defining our own non-negotiable standards. What are the principles you will not bend, regardless of the pressure or the temptation? Whether in your career, your relationships, or your personal goals, honor demands that you act in alignment with your highest self. It is the conscious choice to be trustworthy, to be sincere, and to live a life that you can look back on with pride, knowing you never sold your integrity for convenience. Hand in hand with honor comes a profound sense of self-responsibility, or jiko-seikanen. This is the understanding that you, and you alone, are the architect of your life. Yamato Damashii rejects the culture of blame. It doesn't look for external excuses for failure or misfortune. Instead, it turns inward. It asks, what was my role in this outcome? What can I learn? How can I be stronger? This isn't about self-flagellation. It's about empowerment. When you accept total responsibility for your actions, your reactions, and your circumstances, you reclaim your power. You are no longer a victim of fate, but the master of your response to it. Imagine a project at work fails. The easy path is to blame a difficult client, a lazy colleague, or a lack of resources. The path of self-responsibility is to analyze your own contribution. Did you communicate clearly enough? Did you anticipate potential obstacles? Did you manage your time effectively? This mindset transforms every setback from a dead end into a lesson. It is the fuel for relentless self-improvement. By embracing self-responsibility, you stop waiting for the world to change and start changing yourself. You become the source of the solutions you seek, building a foundation of resilience that cannot be shaken by external events. The warrior's spirit is truly forged in the crucible of pressure. Discipline under pressure is not about being fearless. It's about acting correctly despite fear. It is the ability to maintain composure, clarity of thought, and adherence to your principles when chaos erupts around you. The samurai practiced this through rigorous training, preparing their minds and bodies to function flawlessly in the heat of battle. They understood that panic is the true enemy. In our lives, the battles are different. Critical deadline, a difficult conversation, a personal crisis, but the principle remains the same. How do you respond when the stakes are high? Do you crumble, or do you find a still point within the storm? This stillness is cultivated through practice. It's the daily discipline of choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. It's meditating for 10 minutes when you feel too busy. It's tackling the most difficult task first. It's keeping your word when it's inconvenient. Each of these small acts is a rehearsal for the main event. They build the mental and emotional muscle required to remain steadfast when adversity strikes. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you have trained for this moment, that you can rely on your discipline when your emotions are in turmoil. True strength isn't the absence of pressure. It's the grace with which you carry it. Finally, all these principles are bound together by an unbreakable commitment. This is more than just a decision, it's a vow. In the spirit of Yamato Damashii, commitment is absolute. It means seeing a task through to its end, not just until it becomes difficult or boring. It is the dedication of the long-distance runner who keeps going long after the initial excitement has faded, driven only by the finish line they committed to reaching. Motivation gets you started, but commitment gets you finished. It's about understanding that worthy goals require long-term vision and sustained effort. Think of learning a new language or mastering a musical instrument. The initial progress might be quick and exciting, but then comes the plateau, a long, arduous stretch where improvement is slow and barely noticeable. This is where most people quit. It is where commitment separates the amateur from the master. The master understands that this plateau is part of the process. They show up every day, they do the work, they trust the process, even when they don't see immediate results. Their commitment is not to the feeling of progress, but to the path itself. This is the ultimate expression of duty. It is the decision to honor your word to yourself, to take responsibility for your progress, to remain disciplined under the pressure of discouragement, and to see your purpose through to the very end. So, when you find yourself waiting for a wave of motivation that may never come, remember the alternative. Look instead to the quiet, steady hum of duty. Build your life not on the shifting sands of emotion, but on the solid rock of principle. Define your honor, take ownership of your destiny. Cultivate discipline in the small moments so it will serve you in the large ones, and make a commitment, not to a feeling, but to an action, to a purpose. This is the path of Yamato Damashii. It is not an easy path, but it is a path of substance, of meaning, and of profound, unshakable strength. It doesn't ask how you feel, it asks what you must do. And in the answer to that question, you will find a power far greater and more enduring than motivation could ever provide. You find your duty, and in your duty, you find yourself. Discipline is not a chain that binds you, but the key that unlocks your true potential. It's the silent force that guides you when the fleeting whispers of motivation have long since faded. This is the essence of duty, a concept deeply ingrained in the spirit of Yamato Damashii. It's the understanding that greatness is not born from fiery, sporadic bursts of passion, but forged in the quiet, consistent application of effort, day after day. Motivation is a fair-weather friend. It arrives with sunshine and fanfare, but vanishes at the first sign of a storm. Duty, however, is the steadfast companion that remains by your side through rain, wind, and darkness. It is the internal compass that points true north, regardless of the emotional weather. Consider the ancient samurai. Their lives were not governed by how they felt on any given morning. They did not wake up and consult their feelings to decide whether they would train with the sword, study strategy, or fulfill their obligations to their lord. Their actions were predetermined by a code, by a profound sense of duty that transcended personal comfort or momentary desire. This was Bushido, the way of the warrior. It was a framework for living a life of purpose, where every action was a reflection of one's commitment. The samurai's sword was not merely a weapon, it was a symbol of his responsibility. The daily polishing of the blade, the endless practice of kata, these were not chores, they were rituals that reinforced a state of readiness, a commitment to excellence that was non-negotiable. Their strength was not in their passion for battle, but in their unwavering discipline in preparation for it. This principle is not confined to the feudal past of Japan. It is a timeless truth that echoes in the lives of all who achieve mastery. Think of the concert pianist. Do they only practice when they feel inspired? No. They practice when they are tired, when they are frustrated, when the melody feels distant and their fingers feel clumsy. They sit at the piano because it is their duty to the music, to their craft, and to the audience. They will one day move to tears. The hours of repetitive scales and painstaking practice are not glamorous. There is no external applause for this solitary work. It is the quiet fulfillment of a duty to be better today than they were yesterday. This is where real progress is made, not in the moments of inspired performance, but in the countless hours of disciplined repetition. In our modern lives, we are constantly bombarded with the pursuit of feeling good. We chase motivation through podcasts, seminars, and inspirational quotes, believing it to be the fuel we need for success. But this is a fragile strategy. What happens when the motivational high wears off? What happens when you face a setback? when you're tired, when life becomes difficult. If you rely solely on motivation, you will falter. You will stop, but if your actions are rooted in duty, you will continue. You will show up. Duty provides the structure that motivation cannot. It builds momentum through consistency. Imagine a writer who commits to writing 500 words every day. Some days, the words flow effortlessly, a torrent of creativity. On other days, every sentence is a struggle, a battle against a blank page. The writer who depends on motivation will only write on the good days. The writer who operates from a sense of duty will write every single day, regardless of inspiration. And over the course of a year, who will have completed the novel? It is the one who honored their commitment, who treated their craft not as a hobby, subject to whims, but as a solemn duty. This consistency compounds over time, creating a body of work that passion alone could never produce. Yamato Damashii teaches that honor is found in the fulfillment of one's obligations. It's an internal-facing honor, a quiet dignity that comes from knowing you have done what you said you would do. This applies to every facet of life. Your duty to your health means you exercise even when you'd rather stay in bed. Your duty to your family means you provide and protect even when you are exhausted. Your duty to your work means you deliver your best effort, even when the task is mundane. Each of these acts is a brick in the foundation of a strong character. It is the cultivation of a will that is not easily swayed by discomfort or distraction. When you feel weak, when you doubt yourself, that is precisely the moment when duty must take command. Weakness is a feeling. Duty is a decision. Feelings are transient and unreliable. Decisions, when anchored to a core principle, are solid and enduring. By choosing duty over feeling, you are not denying your humanity. You are transcending its limitations. You are training your mind and body to follow your will, not your fleeting emotions. This is the path of the warrior, the artist, the professional, anyone who seeks to build something of lasting value, beginning with themselves. The process is simple, though not easy. It begins with a promise to yourself, a small, manageable commitment. It could be waking up at a certain time, reading 10 pages of a book, or practicing a skill for 15 minutes. The size of the task is less important than the consistency of its execution. Each time you fulfill this small duty, you cast a vote for the person you wish to become. You reinforce a new identity, one built on reliability and discipline rather than impulse and feeling. You are not waiting for the right mood to strike. You are creating the conditions for success through your unwavering action. This is the essence of self-mastery. This is not a call for a life devoid of joy or passion. On the contrary, it is through the structure of discipline that true, lasting fulfillment is found. The joy that comes from achieving a hard-won goal is far deeper and more satisfying than the fleeting pleasure of indulging a whim. The pride of looking back on a period of consistent effort eclipses the temporary comfort of having given in to laziness. Duty is not the enemy of happiness. It is the architect of it. It clears the path of distractions and allows you to focus your energy on what truly matters. It transforms you from a passive observer of your life, tossed about by circumstance and emotion, into the active creator of your destiny. The modern world offers infinite comforts and endless distractions, each one a temptation to abandon our duties. The path of least resistance is always available, beckoning with the promise of immediate ease. But greatness is never found on this path. It is found on the arduous uphill climb of discipline. It is forged in the voluntary acceptance of hardship for a greater purpose. Yamato Damashii reminds us that there is a profound strength and a deep honor in choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. It is the choice to be governed by a code, by a commitment, by a duty to become the best version of ourselves. This internal resolve is the source of an unshakable strength that no external force can diminish. The fire of motivation may burn bright, but it is the deep, steady current of duty that will carry you to your destination. Motivation is a fleeting shadow. It whispers promises of achievement, but vanishes at the first sign of hardship. It is a fair-weather friend, abandoning you when the storm arrives. We are taught to chase it, to cultivate it, to depend on it. But what if we've been looking in the wrong place? What if the true source of enduring strength isn't found in a temporary feeling, but in a timeless principle, a principle of duty? In the heart of Japanese culture lies a concept that transcends mere feeling. It is called Yamato Damashii. Literally translated, it means the Japanese spirit. but its essence runs far deeper. It is the spirit of the Yamato people, the indigenous name for Japan. It embodies a constellation of virtues: courage, honor, self-sacrifice, and an unwavering dedication to duty. Yamato Damashii is not about what you feel like doing, it is about what you must do. It is the quiet, unshakable resolve to see a task through, regardless of personal comfort or emotional state. This spirit guided the samurai through battle, fueled the artisans in their quest for perfection, and fortified the nation through times of immense adversity. It is the understanding that your actions are part of a larger whole: your family, your community, your legacy. This is not a philosophy of emotion, but of action. Let's dissect the fundamental difference between motivation and duty. Motivation is external. It relies on a reward, a goal, a feeling of excitement. When the reward seems distant or the excitement fades, motivation evaporates. It is inherently unstable. Think of the New Year's resolution, full of fire on January 1st, but reduced to ashes by February. That is the weakness of motivation. It requires constant stoking, a continuous search for a new spark. Duty, on the other hand, is internal. It is a commitment you make to yourself and to others. It is a promise, a code. Duty does not ask you if you are tired. It does not care if you are bored. It simply requires you to act. It is the parent waking in the middle of the night to care for a sick child. It is the soldier standing guard in the freezing cold. It is the artist spending 1,000 hours on a single piece of work. They do not do these things because they are motivated. They do them because it is their duty. Duty builds a foundation of reliability. It transforms you from someone who acts when they feel good to someone who acts because it is right. It is the engine that runs on commitment, not on emotion. And unlike motivation, commitment does not run out of fuel. So how do we apply this ancient warrior philosophy to our modern lives? The applications are everywhere, woven into the fabric of our daily existence. Consider your work. Many people seek a job they are passionate about, believing motivation is the key to success. But even the most passionate career has its days of tedium, frustration, and doubt. On those days, passion is not enough. Duty is what carries you through. It is the duty to your colleagues, to your clients, to the quality of your own work. It is the commitment to show up and deliver your best, not because you feel inspired, but because you made a promise. This is professional Yamato Damashii. You perform your function with excellence for the good of the whole. Now think about your habits. We all want to build better habits. Exercising, reading, learning a new skill. We start with a surge of motivation, buying the gym membership, the books, the online course, but then life gets in the way. We feel tired, we're busy, we'd rather watch TV. Motivation deserts us. But what if you framed it as a duty? A duty to your future self. A duty to your health. You don't go to the gym because you feel like it. You go because you have a duty to maintain the vessel that carries you through life. You don't read a book because you're in the mood. You read because you have a duty to cultivate your mind. Each small act performed out of duty becomes a brick in the fortress of your character. It's no longer a negotiation with your feelings. It becomes a non-negotiable part of who you are. The question changes from, do I feel like it? To, is it my duty? The answer to the second question is almost always yes. This principle extends to our daily discipline, the state of your living space, the way you manage your time, the promises you keep to yourself. Motivation might get you to clean your apartment once. Duty gets you to maintain it as a space of order and clarity. Motivation might get you to plan your week. Duty gets you to execute that plan, even when unforeseen distractions arise. Discipline is not a punishment. It is the structure that gives you true freedom. When you act from a place of duty, you are no longer a slave to your own whims and moods. You become the master of your own actions. You build a life of intention, not of impulse. This is the path of inner strength. It is the understanding that small, consistent acts of duty compound over time into a life of remarkable achievement and resilience. And resilience is the ultimate gift of a duty-driven life. Life will knock you down. You will face failure, loss, and heartbreak. In these moments, motivation is a distant memory. Hope can feel like a delusion. What remains? Duty. The duty to get back up. The duty to keep moving forward, even if it's just one small step. The duty to yourself, to those who depend on you, to the values you hold dear. The samurai understood this. Their code, Bushido, was built on a foundation of duty. They faced death not with a fleeting sense of bravery, but with a deep, abiding commitment to their Lord and their honor. This is the essence of resilience. It is not the absence of pain, but the ability to endure it, to move through it, driven by a purpose greater than your own suffering. When you are guided by duty, you discover a strength you never knew you possessed. You become unbreakable, not because you don't feel pain, but because your actions are not dictated by it. Look around you. The most reliable, respected, and effective people in any field operate from this principle, whether they call it Yamato Damashii or not. They are the ones who show up, day in and day out. They are the ones who finish what they start. They are the ones you can count on when everything goes wrong. They have moved beyond the childish need for a cheerleader. They have an internal compass, and its needle always points toward their duty. This is not a call to a joyless life of robotic obligation. On the contrary, there is a profound satisfaction, a deep and lasting fulfillment that comes from a life of duty. It is the quiet pride of a job well done, the respect you earn from yourself, the knowledge that you are a person of your word. This fulfillment is far more stable and rewarding than the fleeting high of motivation. The path of duty is a choice. It is a conscious decision to subordinate your momentary feelings to your timeless values. It requires you to define what your duties are. A duty to your health, a duty to your family, a duty to your craft, a duty to your community, a duty to your word. Write them down. Look at them every day. Let them be the principles that guide your decisions, especially when you are tired, discouraged, or bored. Let them be the bedrock upon which you build your life. This is the way of the warrior, the artisan, the builder. This is the way of Yamato Damashii. Cease the hunt for motivation. It is a ghost. It will lead you in circles and leave you empty-handed. Instead, cultivate duty. Embrace it. Let it be your guide, your strength, and your honor. For in the quiet performance of your duty, you will find not only success, but something far more valuable, a powerful and unconquerable self. Your actions define you, not your feelings. What will your actions be today? Not what you feel like doing, but what must be done. The answer to that question holds the key. This is not a path for the faint of heart. It demands more than empty words. It demands unwavering action. To choose duty over motivation is to choose the difficult road, the one that forges character through resistance. It is to find purpose not in the peak, but in the climb itself. Every single day presents a new opportunity to make this choice. When the alarm clock rings, when a difficult task looms, when laziness calls your name, that is the moment of decision. Do you follow the siren song of comfort and fleeting desire, or do you listen to the steady drumbeat of duty? Each time you choose duty, you strengthen that resolve. You build a muscle of discipline that will serve you in every aspect of your life. Yamato Damashii is not a birthright. It is a standard to which one aspires, forged in the fires of daily commitment. The spirit of duty transforms the mundane into the meaningful.